Hi everybody, this is WildStorm Comic Reviews here with a review on Brass, issue 1 by Image Comics. And, before I start this video, I just want to make sure, if there are any kids or any people under 18 watching this, you really shouldn't be watching this because this is a very mature, very adult comic book. So if you're under 18 or if you're a kid, I wouldn't recommend watching this. It's very adult, it's not really recommended for ages 12. 13, 14, 15, it's very much for 18 or adults, because this is a very adult book, so it's got some adult themes in it, so I'd recommend if you're 18 or younger, click off this video, but, I mean, you've been warned, so, but yeah, if you are younger, click off this video. But anyways, yeah, this is Brass by Image Comics, and, if this cover doesn't get you hyped, then I honestly don't know what will. I mean, just look at how detailed this is. Look at this, guys. Like, look at this. This excites me. I love this cover. Look at this gigantic gun here. Like, look how gigantic this gun is. Look how gigantic this gun is. And look how cool, like, this suit looks. If it doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what's going to, because this cover just excites me. Gun here. Sorry, I just want to spend a few minutes on this. Look at the detail, guys. Look at the freaking detail on this. Just look at it. Take it all in, guys. Take it all in. Okay, but let's get into the story. Okay, so story starts off and we got this guy. He's up on a building, naked, obviously. And this guy's name is Herschel Goldstein. That's his name. And right now he's kind of transforming into the brass armor, which is he's transforming into like a living machine. So he's up here. That's quite a sight to behold, obviously. Yeah, we get to this next scene. Sorry, some of its shading is transforming into the brass, which is like the brass is basically, and we'll get into it in the story, but it's like this virus that transforms anything into like a machine, basically, like a living machine. It's a virus that transforms anybody into a living machine. Doesn't matter if you're a human, a fly, it just transforms you into like this living machine. It's not like Iron Man, it's like an actual living thing. So here we get the scene here. And he's talking about how also when he transforms into the brass armor, it's very painful, very, very painful. Look at these images, guys. Like, look at these images. Just look at this. See, it's transforming in his mouth, in his eye right here. It's getting all torn apart. And then you see it's very painful, obviously. And you see him getting into his armor. And it's just really, really cool. And then we get the final, there we go. Error there. Then we get, his final form. We get the city. Look at this city. Hopefully it shows up for you guys okay. It's kind of sunny out here. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at how detailed this is. And then we got the brass armor. And I know there's some shadowing here, but I'm trying to show as much as I can. Look at this, guys. This is the brass armor. This is Herschel Goldstein transformed into brass. In the brass armor. And it looks really, really awesome. Looks incredible. Get a full form here. Got his feet. Got his body armor. Got his gigantic gun here, which is kind of hard to see, but there you go. Go on to the next page. Really, really amazing. But anyways, we get to the story of our main protagonist, Herschel Goldstein. He talks about how he used to work at a nightclub. He would, like, wash toilets and wash urinals and, clean the crap out of them and everything. So it's basically just any normal job. He talks about how all a person really needs is, what else does a person really need? You got a job, you go home, you watch TV. And I mean, some cases he's kind of right. But then we see this scene where he has like this very big pain in his like stomach, and he's kind of punching himself over it. And it's very painful when he's talking about how, you know, the thing he hated most about his job was probably cleaning the cigarette butts out, because those can be kind of nasty. So it's just kind of normal stuff. We get the scene where he's on break, and his buddy, Julie, I believe is her name, Juliet, comes by. She goes, hey, Herschel, his name is Herschel Goldstein, by the way, I just want to make that clear, our protagonist in the story. She goes, hey, you really need to go get a doctor. You've been, you know, whining about your stomach pains forever. And she goes, you know, you need to really see a doctor. And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, it could just be because I'm a hypochondriac, you know? I don't think I have any big pain. And he goes, yeah, you should really go check a doctor. Like, you're having, like, these very horrible pains. You need to go check it out. So she's like, yeah, just go home, go to a doctor, go get yourself checked out. And he goes, yeah, sure, I'll talk to you later, Juliet. Oh, one thing I want to go over is the interesting thing about this character is that Herschel Goldstein is very much a bum character. He's not glamorous like Superman or responsible as Spider-Man. He's kind of like our last character, Phil York, in a way, but he's even more like he's very much a bum. It's a very interesting protagonist characteristic. Like there's just one scene where, see if I can find it. I may just have to tell you guys about it, but here we go. I met Juliet when I was sleeping in the stairwell of her building. So let me stay in her place for a while. Since then, I've kind of been her pet charity project. So I thought that was really interesting and really cool. Like the fact that our protagonist is like this bum, kind of hobo-ish character. I'm not trying to be mean or offensive. I'm just kind of pointing it out because that's how his character really is. So I thought that was really interesting and really cool and really unique. Because you don't get characters a lot like that in comic books, or at least main protagonist heroes. Okay, we keep going. He goes to the doctor, and I gotta say, guys, I found this just to be kind of hilarious. So the doctor basically tells him, tumor, cancerous, weeks to best to live. And then he goes, I'm surprised you're still standing. And he goes, that's impossible. I feel fine. It was probably mixed up at the lab. And he goes, you have cancer. You are going to die. Like, straight up tells him you are going to die. And then he says, yeah, these emotions are natural, you know, for saying you're about to die. And I thought that was hilarious. Like, he's just so straightforward. It's so freaking hilarious. He just tells him you are going to die. Straight up. And it's just funny to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just cruel like that. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. So, yeah. Some of these might be hard to see because of the sun, but hopefully y'all get a decent image. Drops his coffee. Walks out. And then we get to a traffic scene. And I'm not going to get too much into this part. I'm just going to say there's this guy. I mean, he's acting kind of creepy towards some people. And we see Herschel on the bus. And he's kind of just like contemplating, I'm broke, I have no money. Since I paid all the doctor's bills, I don't even have enough for, cigarettes. And, yeah, so the guy's just kind of, I'm not going to go through all of it. Just because, like, the guy's just being really creepy. But there is this guy right here. But there's this funny scene where, it's funny because you can read it right here. But he's like, actually, the truth, I'm an 11-year-old boy, and he's talking about how, like, he's part of the Indian Affairs Bureau, and, like, he's here because he wants to, like, reunite the Communist Party, and it's just all this crazy stuff, but it's so over the top, it's so hilarious. I love cheesy stuff like this. I know a lot of people hate this, but in 90s comics, but I love this kind of stuff. If he pulls out a gun, and the guy's like, no, don't shoot me, and he just shoots him, and Herschel's sitting there, and it's funny because Herschel was like, this guy is such a crybaby. Like, I know life sucks, but, like, you don't hear me whining while the guy's getting shot to death. And he just gets, like, all this blood dripping on him and everything. And it's like, and then the bus driver gets shot. And, trying to turn the page here. I don't want to wreck this. There we go. He shoots him out of the bus. The bus driver lands on the ground. And we get this funny line where it's like, it's hard to see, so I can just tell you guys. Like, there are these two kids there, and they're like, oh, they must be shooting a Jackie Chan movie. And it's just really over the top in 90s, and I absolutely love it. The crazy dude escapes, and Herschel gets out of the bus. We come home, and we just get reaffirmed even more that, come to Herschel's house, we get reaffirmed even more that he was just kind of a bum, kind of person. He comes home, he hadn't paid his gas bill, he hadn't paid his movie bills, he hadn't paid really anything. His friend Juliet's checking on him to see if he's okay. Getting his hands washed of the blood that's on him. He has a cat, which I guess is like his only companion. And he takes care of him and he feeds him. He's kind of just chilling out, and he kind of ends up taking a nap. And then while he's taking his nap, two cops show up at the door, asking about, the crazy guy murdering the bus driver, and that he was the only suspect that wasn't, Herschel was the only suspect that wasn't really informed. So they're like, we need to inform this guy. And Herschel's like, what do you guys need? What's up? And he goes, we just wanted to question you about the shooting that happened in the bus today. And, they're like, yeah, so do you have any word on it? And he goes, and they're like, what's on your shirt? And he goes, well, there's just a little blood I got on my shirt. So they instantly assume that he, shot the guy because he's got, this blood splatter on his shirt. Of course he didn't. But what's hilarious is he sees the gun and they go, hey, we want to question you. But then he does, the dumbest choice you could probably make. And he, closes the door and just oh, it's stuck, I can't open it. He makes a break for it. Literally makes a break for the cops. And then he's just running out the door. We get this really cool shot where he's jumping out the window. Look at the detail, guys. Look at this detail. Pants are getting ripped. Really, really cool. But he's running away from the cops, which isn't the best decision to make, but, sorry guys, Herschel Goldstein, I guess, is just that type of character. So, we get into this, we go back to 1967. It kind of goes into the backstory of the brass armor that I was telling you guys about earlier, and we see this really cool lab complex. Really cool lab complex. It's really, really cool. We see monkeys in jars. It's kind of hard to see because of the sun, but I'm trying to show you guys as much as I can. It's just kind of the lab complex. This is back in 1967, I believe, and they're kind of just working on the brass virus. Some of this is going to be kind of hard to see because of the sun. Yeah, but anyways, they're just experimenting with the brass virus, and they're experimenting on this bug here, this housefly. And, you can see the brass virus is just melting the fly, transforming him into this really awesome looking, look at this, guys. He's like a freaking housefly with machine guns coming at him. Look at how cool this is. I'm sorry, but just look at how cool this is. Screw the whole drone thing, man. Let's get some of these houseflies to protect your house. Look at this. Just call up one of your housefly drones and you can take out any bad guys who are trying to rob you. But anyways, so the guys, it's a success. The brass virus is working with the fly. It's working all well. Then all of a sudden, the guy kind of loses consciousness or whatever, and he falls down the ladder shaft. And then all of a sudden, there's it's funny because it's I'm going to try to adjust this now. But when he tries to adjust it, the building explodes. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not the best lights. He may not see everything, but I'm going to try to show as much as I can. And then, this guy's cool, that's awesome, because, the other guy kind of treated him like a jerk, so he's kind of happy that he's dead. But then he's like, yay, we're going to try it on, humans now, and all this other stuff. But anyways, so we're back in 1996. It goes back and forth. Part of this book is about Herschel Goldstein running from the cops. The other part is the backstory of the brass. So we kind of go from 1996 to 1967, which in most cases would be kind of back and forth. It wouldn't really work well, but in this case, I don't mind it. It works really well for me. Going back to the past to the present. We see this guy. He's trying to sell some weed because he wants to make money for buying his son a game system and buying his wife a fur coat and stuff. It's probably a scam, but whatever. I just thought it was funny. So the cops come out and they're like, "Oh wait, we see the white male. The guy who probably killed the bus driver. Let's go take him down. And if you'll take him down, I'll buy you breakfast." That's what the officer is saying over here. So then Herschel escapes the cops again, and they're like, hey, if you catch up with them, maybe I'll. Okay, well, anyway, she's like, what do I get if I shoot him? And he goes, you get me. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll just get breakfast. And that was kind of funny to me. But they're running. Yeah, no, this sun's kind of annoying. Running. More running, more running. That part's funny too. Went over the edge. I'm not going over the edge. Darn it, I'm not going over the edge. I know what it says, but then we go back to 967 again, and it explains. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through this. So the guy sitting in the chair here is named Miles Craven, and he kind of controls this corporation called International Operations IO. It's a very famous thing in Image Comics and the WildStorm universe. If any of y'all are familiar with that, it's a very famous corporation. They're kind of like this secret government corporation that works for the government. They have all these secret operations. So yeah, so Miles Craven is like the big head of IO, International Operations. And he's kind of a IO kind of creates the brass virus, so he's kind of helping to create the brass virus. So yeah, he's just kind of helping to create the brass virus. And he's kind of talking about how this guy Weird's like, oh yeah, well there's this explosion with the fly. It wasn't really the brass virus's fault, but it was more or less the virus overloaded the fly system because the fly is so small. To contain that amount of virus in the fly is really difficult. So that's why the fly exploded, was because the fly couldn't take much of the virus because of how small he is. Like the virus overloaded the fly system because of how small he was, and so the fly exploded, and that's how the building exploded, basically. Hopefully I explained that well to you guys. I tried my best. But yeah, that's basically what's going on here. This guy's just telling Craven here, the old guy, about what happened with the building explosion. And he goes, the project worked good. I mean, the fly transformed into what he needed to be, you know. I was thinking we could go to human testing, and he goes, what'd you have in mind? Until he's just sitting over here by the fireplace looking like an evil bad guy. And I love stuff like this. I love over the top. I know a lot of people don't, but I love this over the top cheesy stuff. And so they're like, hey, why don't we just, it's like, Craven, why don't we just use political refugees? And he's like, yeah, refugees will work. Nobody's gonna miss them. So there's like this Nick opening scene. Beep, beep, beep. You know, they're testing out on the refugees. There we go. They're testing the virus out on the refugees. I know, this is going to be hard to make out, guys. Let's see here. Here we go. You can see right here, this guy's getting experimented on with the virus. Here's the virus. Guys like, oh, we got it. We got to try to stop it. But then there's an explosion. I also want to talk about this real quick here. We got a little ad. We got a Backlash Spider-Man crossover. One of these days, I'm going to review it. It's a really, really good crossover. Right here, Backlash Spider-Man. One of these days, I'm going to talk about Backlash too, because he's such a cool character. And here we got Grifter. You know, if you don't remember from my earlier reviews, I talked about him. This is an ad for his second series. And then we got Brass right here. It's just a cool little ad. I don't know, I like it. And then we get our final shot. All the refugees turn into the brass. You know, the brass armor. They all turn into the brass armor, just like Herschel did at the beginning of the book. And it's going to be hard to see, but look at this, guys. Just look at this amount of detail. Look at how awesome this is. If your mind's not blown by this, I don't really know what to do for you, because this screams awesome to me. Really, really does. Look at how detailed this art is, guys. Look how awesome this looks. Take it in. I know, it's a lot to take in, guys, but just take it in. It's an awesome overload. I get it. And you got the green one here, too. Got the gun here. It's hard to see on the sun, but I'm trying my best. And yeah, that is the end of Brass issue 1. Here we got some more art that I want to show off real quick. Yeah, this is going to be hard to see, so I may not... Look at this gun here. Look at how detailed that gun is. Look at the bullets flying off. Do you see the bullets? Look at how cool this is. Bullets are just flying off. I gotta say, Image Comics might be, used to be Marvel when I was younger, but I gotta say, I think early Image is probably my favorite, like, comic book thing, I guess. Yeah, early Image Comics, because look at all this detail. Image is just, like, full of action and just full of so much detail. It's mind-blowing. Like, you can never see this in any Marvel comic. I love Marvel, but look at the detail in this, guys. How cool would it be to have a gun like that? Okay. Then we see this armored robot guy. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. Here's the close-up of the gun. And here's the close-up of the armor. Is there anything else? Here's the back of it. Here's all the people who did the art and the dialogue. Richard Bennett. There's actually a good video of Brass. Somebody did. I was watching last night, and he was talking about the artist and how like he got his job at WildStorm. So definitely look that up. Just look up Brass because there's not a lot of videos on this character at all. I think I'm like, yeah, not a lot of videos on Brass at all. So look it up and you'll find it. It says something like this is the most detailed comic ever. You look it up, you'll find the video. But this is all the people who did it. Hope I'm getting everybody here, but I'm probably not. Here's the back. Hope this doesn't... Check this out, guys. Look at how detailed this gun is. Look at this. Just be immersed in it for a minute. Look at... Look at this, guys. Ain't she a beauty? It's one of those things where I don't ever get the hate on 90s comics because this stuff just looks incredible. I love me some good action and some cool looking armor suit designs. Yeah, I hope I'm getting it for you guys because this just looks freaking cool. There's people artists who did the work, I guess. But yeah, that was Brass issue 1, and I like it. It's a 3-part miniseries, and I will be reviewing the other 2 issues too. But yeah, I like it. I like obviously, I like the art. Obviously, the art looks incredible. It's action packed. The art's incredible. Love the design of Brass. He looks sick as heck. I love Herschel Goldstein as a protagonist because he's just so unique of a character. I like the fact that he's just this hobo guy who is like sleeping in stairwells, is kind of a deadbeat. He doesn't really pay anything off. It's a really interesting protagonist. They don't really do a whole lot in comics. Herschel Goldstein is just such an interesting protagonist to me. I mean, literally, the guy's sleeping in a stairwell, and that's how, and he met somebody, and he's kind of just his charity case. So, it's a really interesting character, and the Brass is a really interesting thing, and I like how it ties into, if you're familiar with the WildStorm universe and stuff, I like how it ties in with Miles Craven and I.O., International Operations. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I love the protagonist, and I will be reviewing the other 2 issues, so I hope you enjoyed the review. This is WildStorm Comic Reviews, signing off.